And it's Dan and James talking about the Villa games. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the AVFC Faithful Podcast. Joined today by just me, Dan. Unfortunately, James is currently away on holiday. Well, unfortunately for us, happily for him. Hopefully, he's having a great time. Not much to talk about today other than the fact that Villa definitely didn't have a great time today, did they? 3-2 loss to Legia Warsaw today. I think a lot of us probably weren't expecting that. A lot of us probably weren't expecting the team that came out, or a lot of us weren't expecting the performance they put out. We'll get on to that. Obviously, uncharted territory. I want to start by reading out a tweet by Luis Miguel Echegaray. Obviously, we had him on way back when we were a baby pod, I guess, so to speak, who's tweeted out the most perfect tweet. Realistically, you could just read this tweet and not watch the video. It is that it's well summed up. He said part of it uncharted territory, part of it too much rotation at the back, part of it was facing strong opponents at home. The goals conceded were too soft. Unai would have learnt some things, but we have to be better away at Villa Park, and that's in all competitions. It's completely bang on. I mean, before we get into the details of it, we are clearly so much stronger at home under Emery, and with this current squad, it's great. Obviously, you want to start building from home, and the away wins eventually come. But it is probably the only real worry for us is that sometimes we don't seem to pick up that sort of momentum away from home that we do. Back obviously at Villa Park, probably got something to do with the way we play. Obviously, we feel a lot more comfortable with possession in the areas we get it in, and it's harder to do that away from home with the crowd against you and whatnot. Either way, it's something that probably does need to improve, especially in Europe. I mean, we're not going to be playing at home every week, clearly, and we need these points. We need to be winning the games that we are playing because we want to be putting ourselves in the best position to qualify for the next stages. Look, we're going to get into the game now. I mean, the starting lineup included rotations like Callum Chambers playing, Duran starting, Tielemans starting, Longley started for the first time. Let's be completely frank, Chambers didn't have a good game. A lot of people were saying it looked like he was running in custard. The second goal, I mean, he's got to be getting back for that. It's come straight from his side. The player running through, it's just we look so empty at the back. The first goal again, Luca Digne has to do more. I think he's let the man walk in front of him for a tapping across goal. It's those things that really separate you from a dominant win away from home to what looks like a really poor performance. Aside from that, we didn't look at the races at all. We looked, part of us starstruck, but the other half of us sort of looked expectant of the result. And Legia Warsaw came to play and play they did. They weren't scrappy. They weren't like some sort of, like a team you'd see playing against a larger club in Europe that like sort of like have none of the ball, and sort of like I believe it's Aberdeen playing today who sort of did that, had low possession. They weren't doing that. Of course, they weren't holding possession like we do, but their possession was much more proactive than ours was a lot of the time. We didn't form many proper constructive attacks, I don't think. There were a few. We had chances. Obviously, I think a lot of that came from Zaniolo, especially in the first half. He was our most active attacker, and then second behind him was obviously Duran for the goal. It's frustrating because we know McGinn's good enough and we know that Bailey's good enough on their day, but again today they just weren't at it. Tielemans again, it didn't really impress. I don't think Unai will be very impressed, but again it was. I can't single out single players because a lot of this was a failing as a team. I think today, you've got to be on the front of these games. You've got to be attacking with purpose, and a lot of it seemed, particularly towards the end of the game, just rushed, silly mistakes. We can say that it's due to rotation. I mean, we've brought in the big guns at the second. Like as soon as we were 3-2 down, we started seeing Diaby come on, Watkins come on, Douglas Luiz come on. And there wasn't that much improvement. I mean, sure, we pinned them back. That was always going to happen. We had, higher quality players and they had less, but they were attacking for having a focus strength on counter attacking where we decided to then pin them forwards. But it was never really that impressive. The clearest cut chance I can remember that we didn't score from was Duran in the first half, where probably was fouled by the shirt being pulled and the keeper makes a great save. Can't discount from Legia Warsaw. They had several further chances towards the end of the game as well. Martinez making some key saves. It's it's frustrating because we know they're better than this, and we know their decision making is better. Douglas Luiz came on, managed to put a corner straight out, managed to misplace 2 key passes, had a shot from about 30 yards in the 92nd minute, I think. Not 30 yards, about 20 yards, that goes over. And you just think, well, it's just sort of one of those games, where we're not at it, they're at it, and they are strong at home. We spoke about this on the pod a couple of days ago. They're not bums. They're a team that's good enough to be in this competition, like we are. So as much as we do think this is a group we should be flying through, it's such a key reminder to us that Europe is an actual high-level competition, whether we're in the Conference League or the Europa League or Champions League. Every club deserves their right to be there, deserves the right to be in for the game. And well, we got shown that today, I think. I want to focus on a couple main positives. Obviously, Duran scoring again. I think his header was really well taken. And a lot of players would have sort of hashed at that, and he rises and then knucks it away into the far right corner. I think that's quite impressive, and I think it's good to see, because if he's gonna bag goals even in these losses and stuff, it's just going to keep his confidence up, and especially if he makes a cameo on Sunday, it's going to be so important. So that was a great moment. Luca Digne showing that, pretty much embodying what Villa were today, better attacking than defensively. His goal was extremely well taken, but again, it's a great finish, but it's so frustrating that he lets, which is pretty much his part of the game, down so much, because I think there's such a great player there, but again, we're not seeing it defensively at the moment. And of course, Zaniolo. These are the games we bought him for. I mean, he showed it again when he played for Roma, that in this competition when he won it. Of course, he's at the level that can be that step above, and he was when he was on it. He was flicking balls over players' heads. He obviously beat his man for the Duran goal and shot, and was unlucky not to score from that. Those are the things that I'm quite happy with. Obviously, Jacob Ramsey coming back in, brilliant. He was a bit rusty. I mean, that shot he has just on the edge of the box, maybe just inside, I can't remember. He should be getting that on target. He side foots it to go to the near post and it goes wide. You expect in a couple of weeks that if he gets that same chance again, he's scoring it at least 7 times out of 10, and he's putting on target 10 times out of 10. So it's a shame, but again, it's so good to see him back and on grass again. And it's going to be good for Sunday, because I think that's when we'll see Moreno on, and we'll probably see a possible start maybe for Jacob. He might not be there yet. So yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm so happy to be back in Europe, but it is such a killer when you wait all day. You're so excited, and then that's the performance we sort of put out. Again, I expect nothing but a strong positive reaction on Sunday and in the games to come. I won't stand for that. And I think a lot of those players will have probably set their own starting ratio back a bit for a few games, because it wasn't good enough. I think everyone would agree it wasn't good enough. It wasn't a system sort of, we didn't lose it on the system. We lost it on the sort of lack of, I will never say a lack of effort. I don't think they didn't try. I just think it was a lack of sometimes self-belief and sometimes overconfidence in their ability to think that Legia Warsaw would just roll over. They didn't. Keynote of complaint, TNT Sports. First of all, why is Robbie Savage on our games? That's never gonna win us over. And then second of all, the whole of the first half having the audio 2 seconds ahead. I mean, come on. Like, we're not watching dodgy streams over here. You're a main broadcaster. I bet there's loads of you out there that might have watched it on a stream like that, and it was brilliant. So that was a real shame as well, but that's just a minor complaint, isn't it? But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and chat about it, really. When you see a result like that in a game like that, you kind of want to come out and not shout about it, but you kind of want to talk about it and get it off your chest. So I can just enjoy my evening now. But yeah, that's all I want to chat through. On to Sunday. Obviously, we did our preview to Sunday's game in our previous podcast, Back with a Bang. So make sure to check that out as well if you want to hear our thoughts. Maybe ignore our predictions for the Warsaw game, but yeah, I still ring true to my Chelsea prediction. I do think we'll get a result there, and it's strange. I always feel more confident coming off the back of one of these results, because Unai won't stand for it, and a lot of those players will be looking back and they'll be, quite frankly, horrified in the way they performed. And good. That's the sign of a team that's willing to improve and a team that's willing to learn from its mistakes. So we'll see you on Sunday. Obviously, thanks for watching. I enjoyed chatting about it. Sorry if it's a bit of a ramble, but yeah, that's sort of what I'm here for, I guess. We'll be back obviously next week with a probably more tactical podcast, I guess, after the Chelsea game. So awesome. Well, if you did stick around this long and listen to the ramble this long, make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for some more, and hit the notification bell just so you don't miss any further uploads, because sometimes I just randomly come on here and decide I want to chat about Villa. So more to it. Up the Villa.